Hello, this is Matthew Miller with the ZDNet Smartphones and Cell Phones blog. Android is one hot operating system right now, and we see more and more devices being released all of the time. What we're going to see released on the 27th of August, which is tomorrow after I post this video, is the HTC Desire coming to the United States. Now, the Desire is a HTC Android device that has been available in Europe for a little while, and this version that's coming to the US is with US Cellular, which makes it a CDMA version of the Desire, which is quite rare actually. So as you can see, here's the box that it's going to come in. It's a nice typical HTC well-constructed box with the device, and here's the device in my hand. It's a very nice piece of hardware. People on US Cellular will probably jump at the chance for this device. They currently have the Samsung Acclaim, which is an Android device that they have available to them, and coming in the future actually will be a Galaxy S version for US Cellular and 2 LG Android phones as well. Later in October, from what I understand, or later. So this is the HTC version, which is actually quite nice. I'm going to walk through some of the hardware and just show you some things on the screen, because this is my first US Cellular phone that I've had a chance to look at, and I would probably buy it in a second. However, I'm not really in the US Cellular coverage area. I believe they roam on Sprint here in the particular area that I am at. And right now I'm living in a roaming zone. I have traveled to where I camp that is a US Cellular region, but I'm not there very often. So to start off with, I just kind of wanted to show it to you side by side with the Google Nexus 1 that I have. And a lot of the specifications are the same between the Desire here and the Nexus 1. We see the 1 GHz Snapdragon processor, the 512 ROM and RAM, a micro SD card slot, 1400 milliampere battery, 3.7-inch display, 5 megapixel camera, Wi-Fi, Bluetooth, all of that typical thing. The one difference is on the display. The Nexus 1 has an OLED. The Desire has an LCD, which actually makes it much more viewable in the sunlight. And as you can see on the bottom, we actually have physical buttons on the Desire versus the capacitive, and rather than a trackball, we actually have a touch-sensitive trackpad. But other than that, it is quite similar, as you can see. But let's look at more detail. So we'll put the Nexus 1 over to the side and just focus on the Desire. So let me take a walk around with you on the hardware itself. Okay, so we see on the front of the display up top is the speaker. There's the HTC labeling. At the bottom we have hardware buttons. We have a hardware button for home and menu. Then we have a touch-sensitive trackpad, trackball, whatever, and a back and search are on the same solid button down at the bottom. And similar to the Nexus 1, it has a nice soft finish plastic around the bezel, and then all the rest of it is the soft touch material, which is actually quite nice. We see on the left side there's the volume rocker up top. Over on the right side is nothing. On the bottom we have a micro USB port and the microphone opening. Up top we have the power button and the 3.5mm headset jack. And then swinging around the back, we see a little bit of the Evo kind of coloring. Evo and Incredible have the red coloring around the camera. We've got a 5 megapixel camera with a flash and a speaker, HTC embedded in the back. And then down here we see there's US Cellular, and then it says with Google and with HTC Sense. So unlike the Nexus 1 that is a Google only phone, however it is Android 2.2 right now, this is an Android 2.1 device with HTC Sense. And in my opinion, HTC Sense is the best skin on a Android device. So here we go. We'll see it's your typical HTC skin, right? We've got the 7 screens. If I press this, we jump into Leap View, and you can see I have my 7 screens there available. Leap View is very nice for jumping quickly between multiple screens. So here's our home screen. It's got the nice weather widget. It has, right now it's loaded with some of the HTC widgets. And if you press menu, you can see that you can go to all your apps, scenes, you can add to home, and I'll check there in a second. So scenes, we see we can have all these different scenes here. We have US Cellular, HTC, social, work, play. Quite useful actually for different things that you want to add. You can change the wallpaper, and of course it has the live wallpapers. So we see here, let's see, we've got HTC Sense, Magic pretty much the typical Android ones that we see. And the notifications, which drops down the slider, and we have some settings. If we say add to home, we see we can add widgets, and there's quite a few widgets. Many of these are HTC specific. Very useful, powerful widgets actually. And you can see there's quite a few of them, including a Twitter application, Facebook, calendar, contacts, all that good stuff. You can add apps, you can add shortcuts and folders. And if we just scroll through, you can see what I have particularly loaded up on there. And this is the US Cellular background here that we see on the particular device. If I jump down here, you can see, oh, there's the management for Wi-Fi, GPS, as you can see. If we jump over here and see all the apps, you can see this is a very left alone device for a carrier. US Cellular has added hardly anything to this. There's actually some useful things such as My Contacts Backup, City ID, which is I've seen on AT&T phones, not so useful. Tone Room Deluxe, and then Your Navigator Deluxe. Now let me show you the other things that you see on here. Footprints, Peep, a couple other things, Peep there. A couple of those other things are HTC specific, Sense specific things. If we do the Tone Room Deluxe, we tap on there. This is actually a website. Let's see, I'm not sure what's going to load up. I am connected via Wi-Fi at the moment, so I won't worry about that actually. Let me go to, what did I want to say? Oh, Your Navigator. So if I tap on Your Navigator Deluxe, what you'll see is this is actually Your Navigator Deluxe for US Cellular, powered by Telenav. So this is like AT&T Navigator or Sprint Navigation. This is their version of a full GPS software. Now granted, you do get Google Maps navigation on board. However, if you dive into the details, if you can get this Telenav, it is more functional. Telenav focuses on the GPS experience, so they offer more than the Google Maps, which is good, but this is, in my opinion, better. And for me, on my Evo, it's included as part of Sprint services, and I'm not sure if it's included or if there's an extra fee with US Cellular. These more regional carriers tend to have more services for better prices. Now that being said, I'll post in my details what I can find about the plans. I'm going to go through some plans, some data fees, and see what we have available for the Desire. We don't know yet what the selling price. However, tomorrow with the availability, we should see that, and I'll update my post with that. It could range anywhere from, I don't know, something like $199 subsidized, which is the standard price for a smartphone. Maybe even down to $99 is some speculation, which would be quite incredible for such a solid piece of hardware such as the Desire. I mean, I wish the Desire was on all these different devices. As you can see, with a 1 GHz Snapdragon processor, it is a very snappy device. Now, I didn't dive into any applications because they're typical Android things, but there may be some new Android customers because of this being on US Cellular. So I just want to show you a couple things here. So there we go to the web browser, and this by default is the US Cellular page, it looks like. So if I tap on an area here, I just want to show you the keyboard. So this is the default HTC keyboard, and as you can see, in my opinion, it's one of the best, even better than the iPhone, and I'll explain why. For one thing, there's the voice button right on there, so if you tap that, you can actually do voice to text entry. Another big thing, and a major reason I think it's better than the iPhone is, as you can see, there's alternate characters above all of these. There's numbers on the top row, then there's punctuation all over. All you have to do is press and hold on that particular letter to enter that. And they have shift, they have caps lock, things that I haven't found on other keyboards. And then of course you can push the number and bounce to even more. If you go to 2, you'll see there's even emoticons in there. And then you tap right there, it hides the keyboard. Go back up, you can see the keyboard again. Now what you can also do, let's just tap on here and see what we have. I don't see any other text entry methods. Let me bounce back home. Let's check out the settings. I haven't shown you much of the settings. We have some personalization settings, the ringtone, the scenes. We have wireless networks, obviously, your mobile networks, internet sharing. We have some call settings in here, sounds and displays, notifications, timeouts, all that kind of thing. Your different accounts that you might want to sync up. location-based information for turning the GPS on and off. GPS has been working outstanding actually on this device. Search, privacy, connect to the PC. As you can see here, internet sharing is one of those USB connection types. Security, applications, SD and phone storage. Let me show you this. So what we see, available space, 97 megabytes on board the device itself, and then we've got an 8 gig card that was loaded in here, and I'm not quite sure if that comes with the device or if they just included that with this review device. Date and time, language and keyboard. So let me go in here, see what we have for the keyboard types. Yes, so we see we have QWERTY, we have a phone keypad, and a compact QWERTY. So you do have some different options with HTC, and then there's always third-party keyboards that you can load up. And let's just tap on the phone settings here. Where we got software information. As you can see, it's Android 2.1. Okay, let's see, what else do we want to show? I think that's about it. This is a nice device, very solid device, coming to a larger regional carrier. I believe they are the 6th largest carrier. I think Metro PCS is 5th after T-Mobile, and then US Cellular along with them, based out of Chicago. So this is quite a nice device. I mean, the hardware is really fantastic. It just feels excellent in your hand. It's got the width that's not too wide, and the hardware buttons, in my opinion, are a nice addition. So that's the HTC Desire from US Cellular, launching on the 27th of August, and I'll try to find a price and put some plan information in my post. Thanks for watching, everybody.